Hey, what's going on, everybody? Movie Phantom here, and guess what? Saturday, man, time for the Movie Phantom's horror review. Got a nice double feature set for you. We got Spider Baby and Suicide Club. So, boom, let's set this off first. What the fuck's going on up there? It's like elephants dancing or some shit. We got Spider Baby from 1967. Sort of. It actually made in like 64, and then like the company went out of business and they postponed the release till 67. But Spider Baby has our boy Lon Chaney Jr. And basically he is the caretaker of these three, I don't want to call them inbred because I guess they kind of are. The parents were inbreeding, so I guess, yeah, the offspring of inbreeding would be inbred, I guess. So three inbred, I don't want to call them kids, because they're clearly adults, but they have the mind of a child. And so he's kind of taking care of these three kids. Adult child. And anyways, there's relatives, like their cousins or whatever, or uncle, I can say uncle and aunt. An uncle and aunt are showing up, and they're presumably going to buy the place and, take control of the family house and the property and all that stuff. So, they're there with their lawyers, and that's the basic premise here, is like this night here. This movie really surprised me, because I don't know what I was expecting exactly at all, but yeah, it was just it was offbeat. It reminds me, there's a lot of films from the 60s, horror films in particular, really just horror films I'm talking about, that have this kind of, I don't know, offbeat thing about, like, I don't know, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, it kind of reminds me a little bit like oh shit, like any of the Roger Corman movies from the 60s, like the black and white ones, the Creature from the Haunted Sea, have that element of comedy, but it's like, they're clearly taking it seriously. You can just tell, like, they're putting their heart and soul into it, so it comes off differently. Like, it can be campy, but then again, it's like, no, it's got a little bit of legitness to it. Night Tide of Dennis Hopper's another one that kind of comes to mind, and it's just one of these offbeat kind of 60s horror, Right off the bat, the opening scene, I'm going to spoil the shit out of this because it's fucking 60s. I was pleased because I buy a lot of, you buy a lot of box sets of, horror box sets and everything, and, a lot of public domain stuff, and the face I recognize right off the bat, maybe I'm not getting the name right, Maitland Moreland? Or Maitland? He was this black actor from, like, the 30s and 40s and whatnot, and, I'm guessing he worked up to the 60s, at least till the 60s, but, he was in, like, King of the Zombies and a couple other things, and I always enjoy him. Like, this guy is just fucking funny as shit. Now, granted, when you look at it now, it probably comes off a little racist, like his characters he played, because he was always, like, a manservant or whatever, and just, it can be a little, awkward, I guess, if you're watching today, because it definitely, but it's a different era back then. Well, he comes in, he's he's like UPS or something like that. Not UPS, obviously, but he's a delivery guy. And I was like, is that him? And then I heard him talking, like, holy shit, that's him. And, but he don't last long. In typical horror movie fashion, black guy dies first. And, but he goes into the window to peek in, and he gets trapped in the window. And this girl, one of the inbred children, I can't remember which one, is Elizabeth or, I think Virginia was the other one, but she likes to play Spider. And he's like, you want to play Spider? So she throws like this little webbing on him, like a little net or whatever. And then she gets her knives out. And sting, sting, sting. And fucking butcher thing. And to the point, like, you see an ear lop off and shit. And you're like, holy shit. Like, I was not expecting that from, the 1960s. So, like I said, it definitely had a lot of surprises. I really dug the acting from the children, or, whatever, the inbred kids. I thought it was very believable. Like, it came off very innocent and sinister at the same time. Like, you don't really think they mean harm, but at the same time, they're gonna fucking, kill them and everything. And of course, it has my boy Sid Haig in it. Very young Sid Haig. In fact, I saw the credits and I was like, oh shit, more who he is. And I didn't really realize, like, oh, it's the 60s or whatever. But then I saw, I was like, holy shit, that's fucking Sid Haig. And he plays the only brother, the son in the group, the only male sibling. And but yeah, he does great. Like, he steals the show. And I'm not just saying because I'm a big Sid Haig fan. I'm just like, he does. Like, I love that character. Lon Chaney was great. There's a lot of wink and nudges to the audience. Like, I know I said that the acting's definitely more serious, But they do have those moments, like, they're constantly, like, referencing, like, the Wolfman. And it's just like, because clearly Lon Chaney Jr. was the Wolfman. And then the opening, there's even a song. It's kind of like it reminded me a lot of the Monster Mash that Boris Karloff sang, but Lon Chaney sang the opening theme to Spider Baby. So yeah, no, I definitely recommend it. I think it's a damn good movie. I was really surprised at how well done it was. Very creepy. The atmosphere itself. I mean, it just looks great. Like they're in a mansion, and of course, they're all, or the mansion's big farmhouse, I guess, but they're all staying there. The people who live there, of course, Lon Chaney and the kids, but then, of course, the aunt and uncle staying there along with the lawyer. And of course, the lawyer's just a complete sleazebag, but they're all just like wandering around the house at night, and of course, they're getting picked off or whatever. But it looks good, like it's really creepy. And there's a scene, actually, one of my favorite scenes that didn't really give me a start, but because I saw it coming. But it was just executed great. Was there's a scene where the lawyer, as he's walking downstairs, there's a stuffed owl, just right there, and of course he's looking around, and then you see another one that you think's stuffed, and then quickly it turns its head to the camera, and I was like, that's fucking awesome. Like I don't know, this was a really cool scene. And then I love the ending. Like the ending, you can see coming a mile away because what it is, it's the uncle who is kind of telling the story, and he's the the lead of the movie, and of course these. Lawyer has a secretary, which is his love interest, which once again typical from this time era. They'd always give the hero girl, but anyways, the way it ends, everybody gets wiped out. Like, sorry, spoiler alert, everybody gets wiped out in the family, but he's the last surviving member of the bloodline. And of course, they call it the movie, or the family's Mary, I think, Merry. So it's like the Mary disease, the disease these three kids had. They were like, it was a result of inbreeding, but they were also like, as they got older, they they get more retarded, and then like the body would start messing up on them and shit. And he was like, and of course they were psychopathic as well. And he was just like, well, I'm the last one. He's just so like pompous, like 1950s, 60s pompous, like I'm fine, and everything turned out great for me and my family. And then it shows his daughter, who has this fascination with spiders, just like the girl from earlier. So I really liked, the way it ended as well. So Spider Baby, definitely check it out. It's definitely worth a watch. It's different, but it's good stuff. And then up next, speaking of different, we got Suicide Club, 2001, and basically in Japan, a mass trend of suicides going on. Like everybody, like big groups of people are killing themselves, and the cops are trying to figure out why. What's going on with it. This movie is actually really good, and I'm not gonna lie, and even now I won't be able to explain it. There's a lot of stuff that I just did not get in this movie. Sorry, I got heartburn out the ass right now. It starts off, and I think the opening was fucking brilliant. It starts off at a train station, and you got all these schoolgirls, and then they all join hands. And I'm just like, oh shit, they're going to do it. And sure enough, they walk up to the platform and the train's coming, and they all just jump together. Boom! Takes them all out. And now I'm told there are, I'm not told, I've read that there are multiple versions of this movie, like different like cuts or whatever. And the version that's on YouTube right now, if you type in Suicide Club, apparently that is the uncut, and because there's a scene where the girl, she gets her head just crushed by a train and blood goes everywhere. And it's a very gory scene, like. But yeah, the opening was just like, holy shit. So basically, from that point, he was the guy from the American version of The Grudge. He was like the Japanese cop that, like the main one. He's an older guy. He was with Sarah Michelle Gellar up on the roof. Also, he was in Audition, and I believe he was in something else, but I'm blanking on what the other movie was. Anyways, recognized him right off the bat, like, holy shit, like this guy. I didn't realize he was like a genre-specific actor, but apparently he does a lot of horror. Anyways, it kind of focuses on him. He's like, the main cop, the story. And he's just trying to figure out what's going on. And of course, at this point, there are other suicides happening just, nationwide or whatever, citywide. I'm not sure how far the radius of this is going. But the cops get a call from this woman. She called herself the Bat. And she's got this website, or it's not her website, she stumbled upon it too, but on the website, there's these dots. There's red dots, which represent women, and white dots represent guys. I could be wrong in colors, but fuck it. But anyway, every time a new dot appears, a new suicide happens. So they're trying to figure out, trying to figure out, what's going on there. the whole time, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of figured it out early on because they keep going, and I'll come back to it when I get to the end because I'm gonna spoil shit out of this one too. So when they come back to, they keep going back to this pop group. There is this like group of kids, and I forget the name of their group now. I'm fucking blanking on it, but they're singing, and their songs are just very like, you know, and it seems almost like the songs are already geared towards suicide in a way, but like, you know, not quite. You know, it's more like, hey, we're your friend. You know, you join us, do all this other stuff. I'll come back to that. So the story keeps going, and you're trying to figure out, you know, what's going on. And of course, at this point now, people are, you know, it's getting crazier. Like at one point, all the kids are joking about it at school, and they're all on the roof. Like, I'm not sure what school. I mean, I've never been to Japan, so maybe it's a normal thing over there. But they're all just chilling on the roof. Like, it's like they're having their lunch period up on the roof, but they're all up on the roof, and they're all joking like, hey, let's jump, let's do it. You know, we're gonna do the whole suicide thing. And they're like, yeah, let's join the suicide club. And they all get up on the roof, and they're like, are we really doing this? And they're like, yeah. And then sure enough, they all jump, but like three people just like, fuck this. And then the three that remains, because at this point, people who didn't join the suicide club are freaking out. And, you know, everybody's outside like, holy shit, these kids just jumped. Well, one girl runs and like grabs the other guy, and they both fall off. Well, then all it's up to this one girl, and she's like, I got to. And then she fucking jumps as well, and you're like, holy shit. So the mystery kind of goes there, and you're trying to figure out, you know, what's going on. What the curveball was, and it was kind of hard to follow, and it wasn't until the end that you can piece it together. So if you do watch it, it does get to a point where you're like, what the fuck's going on? Stick with it. I'm not gonna lie, I won't answer all your questions, but you know, stick with it for a minute. At one point, there's a group that claims to be the Suicide Club. Because at this point, they're like, you know, how can everybody be committing suicide? There's got to be some kind of outside force here. Somebody is leading this group as a cult or something like that, and they're trying to pin on somebody. Well, this guy ends up kidnapping the Bat and her friend, and they're at a bowling alley where basically he's like, you know, we are the Suicide Club, and he's all glam rocked out. Like, this motherfucker is definitely like, you know, he's David Bowie or some shit. And but basically they're not doing something. They're basically just raping and killing these women, right? But with a nice song and dance. Like, it's a very surreal moment because he's like, it's just a crazy song that comes out of nowhere. But while he's singing, the girl's being raped and, you know, murdered underneath the blanket here because everybody else is like, you know, forced to watch and everything else. Very bizarre. But he eventually gets caught, and they're like, well, shit, we solved it. We solved it. You know, now we know, you know, this guy was behind it. You don't know how he's behind it, but whatever. But then, of course, as he's caught, the cop goes home, and, of course, he finds his family has all committed suicide. And he ends up killing himself, and it's hard to really explain. Like, when you're watching it, you kind of understand it as you're going, but to actually say it out loud, it's a little different. So I urge you guys to check it out. The only thing that really kind of threw me off, because at the end you find out that, in fact, it's all these people who are listening to this music is kind of driving them in a way. And at one point, this one girl who, she was hit by her boyfriend because he jumped off a building and it just smacked her or whatever. Coincidence, right? She ends up like cracking the case. Like, she's like, I know. You know, she figures it out. There's a whole, you know, investigation there. Now she kind of comes to, you know, figuring it out. But she ends up going to this band, like the little pop band. But then, like, she just ends up like getting involved with the whole, like, it's weird. Like, I don't understand, like, because when she finds the group, then she just kind of puts herself in with the Suicide Club. Like, she ends up, like, you know, getting marked for the next batch of people, you know, who's gonna kill themselves. And you're like, what? So I have no idea why, like, you know, what the thing behind that is. And the other thing was, there's this scene that is kind of, it's a weird subplot that goes nowhere. And I think what it was is that I've read that there was a subplot that they ended up cutting, and I think this is it. But they said they cut it out completely, but it's still there. Like, they're like, they cut out a subplot because, you know, didn't really fit the rest of the movie, and they took it out. But then in this version I watched, there's still scenes of this in there, and the scene is right after the mass suicide at this train station. These two girls who are, you know, nurses or whatever, they end up killing themselves, and of course the security guard sees it. But then it goes back to him, and he ends up, you know, being haunted by their ghost. Because at this point, you know, you don't know if it's supernatural or not, but then at a certain point you're like, well, it's not supernatural. It's clearly like a mass hypnosis or whatever you want to call it, is causing the suicides. But then, like, the ghosts are haunting him. You're like, well, wait a minute, is this a ghost movie or what? he eventually kills himself, and then there's a bag that. I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. It's a really bizarre fucking movie. Each of the person who kill themselves, they have a patch of skin taken off of them, and that skin is rolled up in a big coil and it's put in this like bowling bag or whatever. Well, that bag is literally moving on its own, and of course it's always at like the crime scene or whatever. So that had nothing to do with the rest of the movie at all, but it's there. Like, you know, it's so fucking weird. I don't know. But after I was done watching it and even kind of scratching my head, I still liked it. Like, I feel like this is definitely one of those movies that I would want to watch again just to see if I can, you know, get, because it really is. It's a beautifully shot film. I love the acting. I love the storyline itself is just fucking phenomenal. But to sit there and be like, I can tell you guys exactly what's going on, I have no idea. And I do apologize for this very weird, rambling review. But that's literally how the movie is. I mean, it's really weird to piece together, but I don't know. If you're a fan of Asian horror and Suicide, and you're a fan of the surreal and just kind of out there stuff, highly recommend Suicide Club. I really do. So yeah, this week double feature is actually really good. We got Spider Baby and Suicide Club, guys. I urge you guys to check them both out. Yeah, that's all I got. So hey, Movie Fam out.